Realtor with Coldwell Banker Realty, and I'm here with my awesome, wonderful, amazing co-host,
Derek Alexander, Realtor with Coldwell Banker Realty.
my son, all-star, superstar, my sunshine.
That's
Sunshine is here today. So we are here to bring you real estate news that you can use on 1580 The Praise, a Gold Chip communication station.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And now the spring is here. I mean, we finally made it.
Yes.
Spring is here. The sun is shining now. No more cold weather. So beautiful season now. So I hope you all are having a great week or start to your week thus far. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
So as always, we love to start our show giving you a little rundown of the marketing activity going on within Central Ohio, the metropolitan areas. So these numbers that I'm going to be talking about is specifically for Central Ohio. So the total active listings that we have for sale is 1,264 homes. So that's relatively still the same as when we last spoke last week. The numbers are still around that figure. So the inventory is still short for existing homes. So a couple slight changes in the mortgage rate. So the mortgage rates are slowly starting to climb back up above 3%. But still relatively low in considerations with all the previous years.
Exactly.
I mean, the previous, when I bought my home in 2013, I was locked in at 4.5. So.
Wow, and that was low back.
That was really low.
It's like, oh yeah, get in this rate, it's below 5%. You have to lock in now.
Right. So I know a lot of, especially some of my friends are looking to purchase their home. When they first started looking, it was around historical lows in the 2% range, and now they see it slowly climbing back up to the 3s, and like, what's going on? And it's not going to go up to the 4s or 5s, so it's just a slight increase because the economy is starting to level back out, get into some normalcy. I know Biden, he just passed a big stimulus package, so they're just expecting that 2021 is going to get right back to where we need to be economically.
That's a good point. So do not panic.
Don't fret.
Rates are still low. The cost to borrow money is still extremely low.
Yes.
And our job is to meet with you, consult with you, and figure out monthly budget. What are you looking to spend per month? And then take that payment then back into what sales price of home best suits your needs. And there's several different ways of finance, whether you're going FHA, conventional, VA, 30-year mortgage. There's also a 15-year mortgage, a 10-year mortgage, a 5-year mortgage. So there's several different variations of financing. So our job is to meet with you, consult with you, do a home buyer consultation, do a home selling consultation to figure out, even though rates are in the 3s, that's still a low rate. The rates are still very low.
Yes.
Cost of borrow money is still very low.
Yes.
So do not sit on the sidelines. Get in and lock in now.
Right. Strike while the iron is hot.
That's a good point. That's true.
And so the existing home sales, they've went up around this same time last year. They went up 24%. So homes are still selling. So even though the inventory is still low, as soon as something hits the market, as long as it looks good and it shows really well, people are flocking to it.
They are.
So people are still buying, and homes are still flying off the shelves at historical numbers. So with that being said, yes, it's great for sellers. So if you're on the fence and you're like, hey, okay, I'm thinking about selling, or I don't know if it's the right time, now is the perfect time.
Definitely.
So even for you buyers, so you may hear that. And a lot of my clients this weekend, we missed out on a lot of properties that were on their radar that they wanted to see, but there's so many people in the buyer pool that they jumped to it before us. And sellers they're getting so much showing activity that they have to cut it off.
It's like 20 to 30 buyers for one home.
Right.
And with COVID, I mean, the showing restrictions have changed. So in terms of how many people can come into a property to look at it, you have a 15-minute window block, maybe a 30-minute window block. But if you have 20 plus people who want to see your house, and you have a 15-minute window block, and you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, highest and best bids are due. Unfortunately, buyers are missing out. And there's creative ways to make an offer, even if you haven't physically seen the house. You can look at the home online, look at pictures, and write an offer, write a contract by viewing pictures online. That's how creative this market has been, and how competitive the market has been. I had a client who showings is coming soon. Showings start on the 28th of March, and she wanted to make a what they call curb offer to buy the house without seeing it. No pictures online. Pictures are not published yet. No showing yet,
Uh-huh.
but she's anxious and ready and willing to write a contract, sight unseen, curb offer. And we had the conversation yesterday, and another buyer had the same idea, and guess what? It's in
It's in
contract.
contract.
Sight unseen, no professional pictures. So my client may be in second position on a house that hasn't been open to the market yet for physical walkthroughs. No pictures, but the area is beautiful, looks great on the outside. It's a newer built home, and we still lost out on a curb offer.
Wow.
I mean, and this house is, $500,000, and it's still curb offers.
Still curb offer.
And we're still considered in backup position on the house that hasn't been open to the public. So it is so competitive. So buyers and sellers, consult with Derek and myself.
Yes.
So we can figure out what makes the most sense for you so that you don't miss out. And if you write an offer is not accepted, we can talk about backup position.
Yes. So what we do in our buyer consultations, we always try to set the expectation.
Exactly.
So we're going to put you in the best position so that when you are ready to start your house hunting and ready to put in an offer, we're going to structure it so that we are very competitive.
Yes.
So some things that you can do is, first and foremost, you have to meet with your lender and get pre-approved.
Definitely.
That's your admission ticket to get into the game.
That's a good one.
So you have to get pre-approved. You want to know what you're approved for so that you don't fall in love with a house that's $300,000-$400,000, but then you don't qualify for it. So you want to know what you qualify for so that we can go into this thing good and ready prepared.
Position of power.
Yes.
With a strong offer comes a strong pre-approval letter.
Yes. So as Danielle was talking about, typically you don't have the time to walk through a property and kind of assess it and say, okay, I can see myself in this living room, or I'll tweak this area here. It's imperative to know what your non-negotiables are. What are your must-haves versus what are your nice-to-haves? So
that's good.
One of your nice-to-haves is say, hey, I want a finished basement.
Right.
But some of these homes, they're going to be priced high.
That's true.
And you may not be able to get that finished basement, but that's something that you can do once you get into the door. So that shouldn't be a deal breaker once you walk into a home and it doesn't have a finished basement, or it doesn't have a deck,
that's true,
or a privacy fence. I mean, those are things that we'll walk you through to say, okay, these are things that you can tweak once you get into the door. What are your must-haves?
Exactly. And you can always make home improvements. That's the beauty of owning a home.
Yes.
It
is
30
yours.
Years. Yeah, 30 years to enjoy it. And you may do a new kitchen, and 5 years later, another new kitchen. And then 10 years later, then finish the basement. Right. And 20 years later, finish the basement again. But hopefully you're calling us in that 5, 10, or 15-year time frame. So you can sell it and don't want to over-improve, and then we'll put you in something else. But that's part of our job, is to do a buyer and seller consultation to figure out your needs and wants. We can map you out and do the GPS, getting into your destination.
Yes. So then the last 2 tips just for you buyers is just be prepared for bidding wars. As we talked about, that there's going to be multiple offers on properties. Sometimes you'll show up for a showing and then you'll see numerous families coming out. So just be prepared for bidding wars and know how much you're willing to spend to get that property. And lastly, just trust your agents. We're your advocates. We're on your side. So we have the strategy and the knowledge to make sure that you are making the best decision possible financially for your family. So don't try to get so emotionally involved, like be controlled by your emotions and get discouraged. Like if you're missing out on properties, don't get discouraged, because what God has in store for you is going to come. So just be patient, and we're patient. We're going to work with you. We know what the market is, and it's crazy.
It is. It's like
but just be patient and trust us and trust our knowledge.
Trust the process. You have to have faith and trust the process. And then we set the right expectations so you know what to expect. And even doing so, you can still set the right expectations. But no 2 deals are ever the same. No 2 transactions are ever the same. So you just have to be prepared and understand that anything worth having, you have to work hard at it. And just go through the process and have faith, trust. We're going to stay in prayer.
Yes.
You'll see our praying hands coming through in our text message, like, Lord Jesus, give us strength.
Praying emoji.
I have praying emoji.
Accepted.
That's right. High five. You got it. And closing day is here.
Yes. So then lastly, just for you sellers, the average selling price is up 14%. So your return on investment is still steadily increasing at a rapid number. And just a cool fact, because I'm a millennial, so just something to toot our own horns for us millennials. So millennials, if you're born between 1981 to 96, we make up 40% of the market share in the real estate business.
That's a huge number.
So we're tackling this real estate strong.
Yes.
And a
as
lot
you
of
should.
people, when you talk about, when people tell you, hey, you should, look for purchasing a new home, and they say, hey, this is just your starter home. But oftentimes with us millennials, we're going in guns blazing, and we want something very luxurious,
Exactly.
environmental friendly, has a high tech savvy
Everything's
features,
high-tech,
smart home
homes.
features. So we're looking at something that we're going to maintain for years to come.
Yes.
So any of you investors or developers, just start, if you're looking at fixing and flipping properties, look at adding some of those smart features into the home, because that's what a lot of these millennials are looking for.
That's true.
Even solar panels, they put it on your roof.
Oh, yeah.
Energy saving efficiency features. Start looking at those, because that's what we're looking for.
That's
and they
true.
make up 40% of the market share.
That's a huge number.
Mm-hmm.
So 40% millennials, and then we have a huge percentage of those who are considered baby boomers who are looking. So, we're right in that middle. We have from one extreme to the other. So we have to get creative in terms of housing stock, inventory, what's available, what's on the market. And then in some cases, create the market. So if it's not already there, we have to figure out a way to create it and speak to homeowners who currently own property they don't want to sell, but maybe they can leverage their assets, leverage their equity, and perhaps purchase investment property. And I have clients I'm working with now. They're looking at possibly building a double. So own one side and rent out the other side to create market that's not there.
Yes.
So we have options for you.
Yes,
this is to figure out what makes the most sense. And I thought that was creative for my client. She's a millennial. And her thought was, hey, I want to buy a double. And it's so hard to find doubles.
It
look at
is.
inventory. So a double, a duplex, a triplex. You look at the inventory here, just in Franklin County, there's less than 6. And then you look at the price points, they're anywhere from 120 to 350, and they need work.
Yeah.
And some of them are vacant, abandoned, or boarded up. And one of my investors had a property.
Just talk about that one,
on the west side. And we had a blind offer come through, 10,000 over list price. And we priced it aggressive because, again, there was only 6 doubles for sale in Franklin County. Then it went down to 4, so we were 5. We were the 5th double, and we had 3 showings, a 4th showing, the 5th one came through. One of my coworkers back from my building days, so I trust her and had faith that she was sitting over a strong offer. We had a cash offer, 10,000 over list.
That's
on
awesome.
A property that had not been occupied in several years.
That's awesome.
I mean, we closed. It was a fantastic deal because now this investor is creating inventory
Right.
for that supply demand.
Yes, creating a win-win situation. So she has her investment property, and now she's going to fix it up so that she can bring in another willing and able family so that they can have a place to call home.
And they're improving the area values.
Yes.
So we know the west side is being reinvested, and things are changing drastically. So you're able to buy at an affordable price and fix up and make it an affordable house. So either sell it or stay in one side and rent the other side,
or the other one.
So it's a phenomenal deal. So
So on the investor side, I mean, what's some options that somebody looking to invest? What are some financing options that they can do?
So good question. So there's several things to look at as you're a first-time investor, you're a beginning investor, because we have that question come up a lot, like, I want to buy property, I want to fix and flip.
Yep.
That's great. You've been watching HGTV. Yes. And we know
it does not happen as you see it on HGTV.
My gosh.
It doesn't take 3 houses and you say, hey, I want the first one.
It does not happen that way. We wish it did.
Right.
Okay, wave our magic wand.
Right,
it's like, okay, there it is. 3 houses, you're done. And even from an investor standpoint, there's so many real estate shows out there that show the fix and flip. Flip this house, or am I going to stay it or sell it, or. That is a whole different ballgame as well. Because it's one thing to say, I want to be an investor. The second thing is, okay, great, you can invest, but have you invested in your own roof over your head, your place to call home?
Yes.
If you're renting right now, you want to buy your first house. Make that your top priority. And after you buy your home, you stay in your home, you settle, then we can have a conversation about investing.
Yes.
So investing 101, first, make sure you're a homeowner. And that's so important because you're establishing your portfolio in terms of credit, in terms of equity, in terms of knowledge of real estate.
Yes.
So your lender, unless you're paying cash for this house, your lender wants to see a track record. It's great that you want to invest, but you have to prove how are you going to invest? Are you buying this property outright, paying cash? If you're paying cash, do you have the remaining funds to fix the property up?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, then guess what? You're financing. And then your financing changes
Yes.
in terms of having a loan in place to be able to acquire the property, and then having financing in place to be able to fix the property up.
Right.
So we have to understand what we're looking at in terms of financing.
Yeah, you have more leverage. And then too, you kind of touched on it. Like once you have your own property, it's like you already know what to expect now.
Exactly.
Like when I first bought my house in 2013, going through that whole process of first finding a house and then knowing what to look for, the inspections, and then once I closed on it, now I have to pay a mortgage. Now I need to understand what the mortgage entails. If I don't pay my mortgage, what's going to happen? Or if I pay it early, you know, what are the perks of paying your mortgage payments a little bit early, or paying a little bit extra on your principal? So once you have your own property, you have it's like a head start.
Yes.
You know what to expect, so that when you do purchase your investment home, now you're fully equipped with the knowledge, knowing, oh, okay, this is how I, you know, went through this process buying my home. Now I know what to expect when I purchase an investment property.
Exactly.
So you don't want to invest in a property and you don't have no clue what's going on, what it entails.
Yeah, we're there as your trusted advisors, your roadmap to guide you, but definitely, again, I'm not to discourage you, but if you want to invest in real estate as an investor, first invest in the roof over your head. Buy your property first. Like Derek said, you have to understand the ins and outs of being a homeowner. You know, I have people come through and ask, hey, how much is the rent for this house? If you're owning it and you're buying, you're not renting, you are owning. You have a mortgage payment. So that's first step.
Yes.
Let's change our dialogue and our language here. You're not paying rent for something that you own. This is your house. You have a mortgage. So we have to understand the basic terms of that. And then some of the things too, we talked about financing with your property. Financing changes with investing. They're somewhat risky. I mean, they're risky deals, and you're going to a lender to ask for money to buy a property that needs to be fixed up, that needs to be renovated, and then returning your investment. So if you're doing a fix and flip, you have to show and prove that you have the skills, you have a crew, you have your team behind you that can help guide you to fix and flip.
Yes.
You have to figure out your budget.
Yes.
Drywall, your carpet, your paint, your plumbing, heating, cooling, electric. You have to have these numbers in place so you know what you're doing.
Yes. When you talk about track record, you got to show the income as well.
Exactly.
Because these lenders, they're not just going to give you $150,000, but then you don't have any income to show for it.
Exactly.
So you have to have some money in reserves to cover that down payment, whether it's 10%, typically it's 20% of the purchase price. You got to have that down. And then whatever you're going to have, because once you do buy an investment property, you got to have money set aside for things that's unseen, unforeseen.
Right.
So you may see a property and it looks okay, it just needs fresh paint and new flooring and maybe update the kitchen, but then you didn't take into consideration of the foundation or the roof or the windows. It's drafty windows, so now you have to put new windows in there. So you have to have money set aside for those unforeseen issues.
That's true. That's true. So the pros and cons, and for those who are part of our network and you receive our monthly emails, you received an email that talked about real estate investing. We have stock market investing. We have real estate investing, real estate 101. And we're going to go through kind of our checklist of things here. And if you're not part of our network to receive our monthly newsletters, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. When you like and subscribe and become one of our members to receive our monthly newsletter, so you can get this timely information to help figure out what's the next step for you in terms of real estate.
Yes.
So yeah, pros and cons. I mean, the pros of buying investment property, you're leveraging the assets, you're leveraging equity in your existing home, which is the benefit of home ownership. You can tap into your equity and then use that equity to buy your investment property. So the pros of that, you can finance it, pay cash.
Yes.
So the cons of that is you are, risk and reward. You are leveraging your debt, meaning you have great debt, which is equity in your property. Take that, buy your investment property, fix it up. Now you either retain it, stay in it, or keep the property, rent the property out, and charge a monthly fee, which is paying yourself back.
That's right.
You're paying yourself back. So your house is your piggy bank.
Yes.
Buying real estate, you are charting the course of creating wealth for you and your family.
That's it.
So whether you stay there, you don't touch equity, you use the equity for college tuition, You use the equity to start a business, or you use the equity to grow a business, which could be your real estate business. You take the equity and you create good debt.
Yes.
So you now own it. You have a renter who's paying you monthly rent. That's paying yourself back. So pros and cons: paying cash, you pay yourself back.
Yes, yes.
There was an interesting quote that came up in our newsletter that we sent out. So one of the people who chimed in under their tweet when the tweet went out, it says, some people go crazy when I say I purchased a home. They say, oh, good for you. Now you have a 30-year mortgage. And the response back was, no, I have an asset.
Yes.
I can rent it for $1,500 a month, profit, leverage the equity to start a business, or purchase more property.
Absolutely. And I think that's a big misconception. You know, when you talk, or like us millennials, that's how we kind of view, you know, purchasing property. If you talk to, no shade on the baby boomers, but if you talk to some of them, they say, oh, that's a liability. You're paying somebody to live there. But not necessarily, not necessarily, because like you said, you're creating your own opportunity. Exactly. You may have a mortgage payment of $800, but once you do your repairs and renovations, and you say, hey, I want to use this property as a rental, now you can rent it out for $1,500, and now you walked away with a nice piece of change in profit. So you can turn your house, a 30-year mortgage, into an asset. And then all that extra money that you're getting in profit, now you can use it to lower that principal amount so that you could pay off that 30-year mortgage down to 15 or 20 years.
That's a good point.
So that's another way that you can leverage your liability and turn it into an asset.
That's a good point, because again, as a millennial, you buy your house, you're in your 20s, 30s.
Yes.
And as you become a baby boomer in your 50s and 60s, your house is paid for.
It's paid
so
off.
Look at all the baby boomers who are listing their properties, and you look at their net proceeds, they're walking away with a 6-figure payday because they bought their house 30 years ago and they don't have a mortgage on it.
Right.
So they're walking away with a 6-figure payday.
Like you said, that's their piggy bank.
It's the piggy bank. So having real estate is the best way to create wealth. And our job is to help you, give you tips and tools, and get you prepared to create wealth through real estate. So one of the other things too is you can finance through a private money lender. You may have heard the term of a hard money loan, and it's hard money because it's a riskier deal. It's not a traditional bank, so their financing is looking at purely the assets. They're not looking at your credit, your income, your debt to income ratio. They're looking at the property in terms of what are you paying for it, how much work needs to go into this property, and what type of return on investment are we getting, the ROI, return on investment.
Return on investment.
Because that hard money lender is there to lend money. I mean, it's kind of like a loan shark somewhat, because they do charge a higher rate.
Yes.
They have
to make their money.
They have to make their money. For that. Yes, there's a cost of doing business. So, and our job is to figure out cost of doing business, what makes the most sense for you. So, if we exhaust options and we look at traditional bank, if that's not going to work, then we can interview hard money lenders as a private money loan, and just figure out, does the terms make sense for you?
Correct.
You may have a 7% interest rate or 8% interest rate, but the benefit of using a private money loan, they're going to lend you money to acquire the property. Also lend you money to fix up the property.
Fix it up.
So technically you're buying the house using someone else's money.
Yes.
They will ask for a down payment.
You're 20%.
Yeah, 20% down because it's risky. And this lender wants to make sure if they're lending not off of you personally, they're lending off of the property and the end result for the property, they want to get paid. They want to make sure that you're not fly by night, you know what you're doing. So their terms are going to be specific to that individual's needs. So this bank on a 20% down, out of pocket cash. There's some lenders who may get creative and do, 10% or maybe 80-20. But in terms of financing, just be prepared as an investment. You're investing money. You have to put money down, which could be as much as 20%. But we'll figure out, does that work for your portfolio? And the benefit again is having the deal financed, meaning you're not paying out of your pocket to acquire the property, fix the property up. And then you look at the turn time, maybe it's a 3-month deal or a 6-month deal, you're cashing out, you're getting the equity back, and you can pay the hard money lender back, take your profit, then use your profit and do a traditional loan. So we had to figure out what makes the most sense for your strategy. But there is a program called private money lending or hard money loan. And we have to figure out what makes the most sense for you.
Right. So just to kind of sum that up, I mean, so there are other options. So you can do traditional lending, which is your conventional or your FHA, or you can go through a private money lender.
Yes.
But again, if you go through a private money lender or a hard money, it's going to be a bit riskier. So they may not require a lot more documentation as a traditional lender, might request. So you may be able to get your foot in the door easier with a private money lender, but rest assured that they're going to take their money, they're going to get their fees, so it's going to be more expensive versus you going through a traditional lender.
Very good. Yeah, so very good information there. So we talked about hard money loan, private lenders, conventional financing, owner-occupied financing. The example with my client, she wants to, own and live in one side and rent out the other, so she can do a traditional loan, go FHA. So that's really good. Well, we had tons of information.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much more to talk about, and I know we rambled through it really quickly, but we could talk for days about real estate. This is our passion, what we do. So we do want to end it with some inspirational notes.
Yes. So the biggest thing, we just want to leave you with these nuggets so that once we conclude our show, you sign up. Go to our website, www.impactrealestateohio.com or www.liveingreatercolumbus.com. And sign up. It's a free account just to let us know that you're interested, and we can chime in more details with this information that we're providing. So we just want to leave you off with a great quote and some enlightenment and encouragement for this week. So it's Monday, spring is here.
Amen.
So we want to start this season off right. So I want to leave y'all with something: praise instead of complaining.
Amen.
Oftentimes we get into situations or circumstances and something's not going our way or something's not happening the way that we wanted to, and in our human nature, we just like, things aren't going my way, and you just get frustrated, and sometimes you even blame the enemy. You say, Satan is winning today, the enemy is winning today. But the word of God says, send praises to God, send praises to me, praise me. Okay, Hebrews 13:15. Therefore, through Jesus, let us continuously offer up to God a sacrifice of praise. That is the fruit of our lips that confess his name. Psalms 150, verse 6. Let everything that breathes, praise the Lord. So pretty much anything that you're going through, any circumstances that may come your way. I know with our family, we got hit with a hard circumstance with our grandmother. She's admitted in hospice care, and just innately we just started to get that shock, and we just start thinking the worst, because when you hear hospice, you're like, they're 1 foot in and 1 foot out, leaving us. But we had to really, for me, I had to really sit back and resonate on God and continuously praise his name, that no matter what circumstance that we're put through, I am so grateful that he is still giving her the life and the breath that she has now. She still has functioning systems within her now, and she's still with us. And even on a lighter note, situation with my neighbor, they were coming through to visit with me, but as I was leaving the house, I forgot my keys. So I said, oh man. So I had to run back into the house to go get my keys. And my garage door was open. Then I got back in my car and I said, I need my phone. I don't know where I'm going. So I had to run back and get my phone. And then I came back to my car and I said, I need my folder. So all of this stuff, I kept forgetting things. But God was saying, hey, slow down, because I'm bringing somebody to you that you need to speak with. So as I finally got everything together, I pulled out of my driveway, and my neighbor was sitting there waiting on me. Said, hey, I was waiting on you, man. If you got a moment, I want to talk to you about selling my property.
Wow.
So things may happen. You may be stuck in traffic going home today. You're like, man, I'm so frustrated with this traffic. But maybe that's a way of God saying, slow down. Continuously give me praise, because I'm putting something in your path that's coming. You may not see it, but just slow down. Continuously give me praise, and something, your blessing, your miracle, this platform that I've put in front of you is going to be my platform to display my glory and my presence. So praise instead of complaining. So just focus on that. Don't complain. Give God the praise.
Amen. On that note, say amen, amen, amen.
God bless.
Thank you for tuning in.